My name is Ato Quayson and I am President of the African Studies Association. One of the truly magnificent things about being an Africanist is that among Africanists, we believe that we can solve all the world's problems. And so at the African Studies Association conference, it is not unusual to hear vociferous debates about how to solve the traffic problems in Lagos, or the water supply problems in Cape Town, or the mining of gold in Ghana. And please don't get me started on the relative strength of Liverpool versus Barcelona. I know the answer, but I don't want to get into trouble with any of you good people. This year has been a really terrible year for everyone. The COVID-19 pandemic has devastated black populations all over the world. In the United States and in Britain, the relative deaths of black people in comparison to the rest of the population has been outrageous. What COVID has exposed is a question of distribution, the ways in which wealth is poorly distributed, that access to healthcare is poorly distributed, and how black folk are at the receiving end of all these inequities. Add to this the deaths of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, which of course triggered outrage all over the world. And we know that the combination of COVID and the deaths of the many black folk in the United States and elsewhere in the Western world shows the degrees of precarity that affect us. We know all these things, but we are undeterred because our arguments and animated conversations about how to solve Africa and the world's problems come from the firm belief that every problem has to have a solution. And so our excitement to gather and to talk and sometimes to argue is because we are all driven by the same motivation, which is to find solutions to Africa and the world's problems. Even though we are not able to meet in person this year, we have a magnificent solution. As the Gikuyu put it, he who waits to see the whole animal ends up spearing the tail. And so we're not going to be sitting down moping for the fact that we're not able to meet in person. The African Studies Association Secretariat, along with the officers of the ASA, have put together a truly magnificent program, among which we will have a whole stream of panels on COVID-19 responses in Africa. And these COVID-19 panels will be registered for in a slightly different way from the rest of the conference. The conference itself is under the theme of the hour of decision: power, persistence, purpose, and possibility in African studies. And it is going to be held from November 19th to 21st of 2020. Now, this theme could not be more appropriate for the conditions in which we have to live now. The issue of persistence, for example, I already mentioned how we are completely determined to find solutions to the problems that confront us. We are renewing our purpose to continue to do so. And also, we are investigating the possibilities of this era. As we have all experienced, we are all now having to communicate via Zoom. travels have been restricted, and teaching is also on Zoom, research is on Zoom. But there are, even in this era of constraints, there are glimmers of new possibilities emerging. The fact that we are in as close contact with our family and friends in Africa and different parts of the world that we have always been, but that now we can actually set up multiple conduits of communication at the same time. These are all possibilities that we will continue to explore, and that will be especially relevant to our virtual conference. I want to say a special thanks to our new Executive Director, Abdul Tejan Cole. For those of you who don't know him, I urge you to quickly shoot him an email and say hi. He's a wonderful person, very gentle, a great and extraordinary listener, was a human rights lawyer in Sierra Leone, where he comes from, and has always had a big heart for justice. We couldn't have appointed a better person to help steer the ASA in the years to come. I also want to say a very special thanks to this year's program co-chairs, namely Karina Ray at Brandeis and Prenisha Badasi at WITS in South Africa. Karina and Prenisha had to pivot from planning an in-person conference to putting together a virtual program. It was not easy. They have been extraordinarily inventive and extremely detailed in setting up what we will see come November as a magnificent offering. The final thanks go to the wonderful people at the Secretariat. I'm not going to mention their names, but they have also been extraordinarily sturdy in keeping things together, so that even though we're not going to meet in person, this is going to be a quite extraordinary experience. In Akan, which is my language from Ghana, we have a saying that goes, Agro besoa ifri anopatutu, which translated means, if the carnival is going to be good, it shows signs early in the morning. And so to make this virtual conference good, I urge you all to register early, get your friends to register, and attend the conference in November. See you all then, and thank you very much.